I shall do my Plymouth Argyle or Cheltenham Town versus Plymouth Argyle sort of match summary to start with. So I have watched the videos, the content that the club managed to put out, the little highlights reel that Andy and Carl equally seen, and a few other little clips that others have shared. So got a bit of an idea for the sort of the way the goal sort of went in. I think it was frustrating that, and I don't know if there's rules, regs, or it's just literally the cost in pre-season to try and stream these games. But I think if you would have had a few people pay a few quid to watch that, it's a shame that wasn't available. So, but it is what it is. So at the start of the game, we had Argyle going behind on 18 minutes with a goal that even Whittaker probably would have been proud of. So Dawson smashing it in from the edge of the right-hand side of the box, a well-worked sort of little goal down that side, to be fair. And something that I noticed in some of the highlights, actually, that we seem to just sort of struggle a little bit defensively down there. But then up stepped Ibrahim Sissoko on 7 minutes later to get Argyle's first goal with a whipped-in cross from Whittaker for him to head home. Brilliant goal. Really enjoyed seeing that. Just all these snippets of potential that's coming. And it was about then when it clicked and Argyle took charge. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Ogbeta or Ogbeta. Andy, you can help me with my pronunciations later. But he even said that sounded good to me, said at the end that it did take 15 minutes or so for the players to click, so that seemed to sort of highlight that. But then Argyle did take charge after that. So Whittaker then got his own goal on 28 minutes with a great bit of link-up play, and just what a ball! He just bent that round into the bottom corner. A goal that will only, as Andy's alluded to briefly, add pound signs to the bids that will keep coming in, maybe from Rangers and anyone else, to try and tempt him away. And then up steps Mohamed Tijani. Did I get that right this time, Andy?
Not Tinjani. It's like... Yeah, you did well then, mate. That was good. You've learned well. Good.
So Tijani, who chased down the Cheltenham goalkeeper, I love it when players do that. Hardy's done that a few times, and I'm always a believer in just chase those keepers down because they can sometimes get complacent. So he managed to nick that ball off the keeper to get Argyle's third, and that's how it stayed going into half time. And I think all of us probably were thinking, there's some more goals that come in this game, which there was. Was I happy with 5? There certainly could have been more, but 5 was pretty good. So Tijani stepping up in the second half just before I think he came off, but I know there was a raft of changes that didn't sort of happen until 10 minutes in to that second half. But he took a bit of clever footwork in the box from him, seeing the replay, and smashed the ball into the goal. So really good. So 2 loanees, who are getting goals there, which is really good. And not obviously wanting to miss out on all the fun, but Ryan Hardy then steps up and bags his first goal of pre-season with a strike that was initially saved. A typical, I would say, if you'd agree, gents, Hardy strike, but keeper saved it, and then he smashed the rebound into the back of the net. So for Hardy, I think off the back of missing that penalty against the Orlando Pirates, is good for him to finally get that off his back. And then as we come into the end of the game, then there wasn't much other action. I know Isaka and Roberts and there quite a few other changes that were made came on, but no further goals. Cheltenham, in terms of watching the highlights, Cheltenham definitely had some opportunities. I think they hit the crossbar or the post a couple of occasions, which is where I sort of question Argyle's defence in those highlights, especially sort of, I think it was on the right-hand side, looked a little bit ropey. But Argyle also had quite a few chances that they didn't capitalise on. So look, for the person there, watching the game, I would have said it looked pretty good. From that, but it's a great start for Rooney and the boys. First game on home turf, to get a win. Obviously, a few more games to go, but above all else, there was attacking play, there was goals, and that's what we've so badly missed in the latter part of that season. So, Carl, as Andy sort of helped out with the initial intro, do you want to give your thoughts on some of that?
Yeah. Very, very impressed with the highlights I saw this morning when I watched them all through. It does look like, from what we've done so far in pre-season with all under Pirates and the game yesterday, that we're going to be lining up 4-4-2, which I think we really lacked a lot last season because Hardy was isolated in a lot of the games, hence probably why he was tired for many months at the end of last season. So it'd be interesting to see him up top with someone else in the mould of Tijani, who is a mountain looking at the highlights yesterday. So whether we'll be playing long balls into him to then bounce through into Hardy, who knows? But yeah, the attacking player yesterday looked really expansive, really quick. The decision making looked really, really fast as well, which is nice to see. You know, we're not getting the ball higher up and like panicking and passing back, and we don't have the options. We seem to have a lot of bodies in the area in the attack, which we've lacked for probably the last 12 months, I'd say. So it's interesting to see us attacking next season. Obviously, we're probably still not done in the transfer window yet, are we? So I think attacking-wise, we've got enough players. Obviously, we still need that Cam to replace Azaz. So attacking-wise, we'll probably be complete once we get that one in. Probably another centre-back, I would say. And I think we're pretty much there, unless anyone leaves in the next few weeks. We'll see.
I think that was sort of watching the highlights. Some of those balls that were, you know, sort of on the attack were whipped from one side of the pitch to the other. You know, looked really good. The confidence of driving forward, even when we had the ball at our feet and passing and moving, you know, forward was really good. It's clear that's. You know, and it has been said in the post-match, you know, with Rooney and Nathaniel. I'm going to just say his first name; it's easier. That is
better.
That's it. Better. That's what players love. So, and then we'll sort of come on to each individual goal, and I've got a little image we can put up for each player as we come to that in a second. But your sort of overall summary, Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting to see Whittaker already getting an assist and a goal in his first game. His cross from the right into Sissoko for the first goal was sublime. It's right in his nugget, you know.
Yeah,
and then as I said, his goal was really good as well. It's a typical Whittaker goal. For those of you who haven't seen it, just try to get onto YouTube or someone to find those goals. And they got all four of them there, all five of them there. So very good. Ogbeta looks sound at the back as well, which is fantastic. I think there was rumour as well. This is coming out of the game for a while. There was talk of someone coming. I think someone called Cisse. I'm not sure coming in before the windows closed and stuff. But that's another story.
Yeah.
Back to the game. Yeah, it's good seeing the forward scoring and seeing Hardy getting on the score sheet. He took his goal well because he actually hit it with his left foot first. It rebounded back to him, but he hit it sort of on the volley, on the half volley into the top corner of the net with his right foot. So it just goes to show that he can do with both feet.
Yeah.
Solid performance by the new guys as well. Tijani looked good, powerful, strong, and that's what we need. I think we lacked that last season.
Yeah, definitely.
When Azaz left, particularly when Azaz left, we sort of lacked that presence up front. And Mike, you get all sorts going on with your background. This guy's a man mounted. Sissoko is a man mounted. And
see, I'm trying to come with the content. I have to flick between. I've got the tool now, so you don't have to see my stereo or windows in the background. I can flick between them now. So, but yeah, I think
it's good. It's good that they're finding the net and just picking up on what Marcus is saying about 4-4-2. Very similar to the way that Lee Carsley played for England at under 21. Absolutely right, mate. I think he did use a 4-4-2 yesterday because. That is what has been. That was what was said in the post-match interviews. 4-4-2, but it was all about attacking. Ogbeta sort of said as well that it's all about the switch play, and getting forward. The manager wants them to press high, so it's almost like an hallelujah moment for us fans because that's what we want. That's what any fan really wants to see. They don't want to see people sitting back and not having a go. It's every fan's dream. So, and it will cost us some goals potentially, but we'll score more than I think we'll concede. So it did appear from that it was a 4-4-2, but a more entertaining 4-4-2. I think once we shore the back four up, you'll get an idea of what's going on. I'm still not sold on Dan Scarr. I said the other night I love Dan Scarr to bits, but I don't think that he's the answer back there because there's going to be a lot of players running at him, and he's just going to get done.
I still think it's good that he's going to be kept on for another season as definitely a squad player. He's definitely got. He showed us in the games last season when he came back into the fold after Foster left that he still can give us, a good 90 minutes. Yes, he's going to get caught by pace, as you expect from an older player. But I think the long run we're going to be going for Gibson and Galloway to start the season if we haven't signed another centre back.
Well, fair point, Carl. That's a good point, don't we? He is quite solid. I just noticed, particularly early on in the season, he just got turned a couple of times. I think against Birmingham, he got done a couple of times.
Yeah,
but,
Marcus is just agreeing, saying we need a quicker centre back than Scar. And that we were also closing down impact. Marcus, I don't know if you were at the game, but if anybody was at the game, then just note that. To us, because it would be good to sort of know. I think it's interesting. Like I said in the highlights, there seem to be sort of weaknesses in the defence that Cheltenham seem to capitalise on. Sort of, I noted Saxon early on one of them, but I know he didn't come on until the second half, I believe. So, but that could still be a concern for us. Phillips, I think someone asked the question in the chat as well. Not sure if we're likely to see him. I think if we were, we would have done by now.
He's featured already for Spurs and scored for Spurs in the pre-season, and I think Divan has as well. So they might ship him out on loan again, and they might come back to us. So I think they liked it down here, and I think particularly Phillips, he's got the composure to sort of hold that sort of line in the back four. He doesn't seem to be phased by it all.
Again, I did think Phillips lacked pace as well. He's not the quickest because he's quite a tall bloke. He's quite a big unit, but he was more solid than Scar. But I still think Phillips lacked some pace as well. But
Phillips was able to read a game very well, and that
he reads it better than Scar, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And it looks as though Ogbeta's made his position in the back four, and I think with him, Gibson. I don't know who you'd have on the left, Galloway probably, and so just the missing gap really is where Dan Scarr's position.
Yeah,
if you're going to play 4-4-2.
Yeah. Well, coming on to, obviously we've got him up on the screen thanks to my artistic talents. Wanted to do this even on TikTok before we at some stage hopefully get to restream, because we want to add. There's only so much I can add within here, but if we start off with Ibrahim Sissoko, I don't know if you guys have heard much from anybody on how individuals play, but obviously this is the loanee that joined us from Toulouse. He's a left wing and looks sharp, as they sort of a couple of them did yesterday. From the highlights, and it's great to see it, get a goal as well, because that's just going to boost any player, especially a new player coming into the club as well, isn't it? But exciting prospect, gents. I think we should say.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I mean, Marcus is just saying that the keeper yesterday didn't get time to breathe with people with back passes and stuff. That's what we need. We need Argyle hard pressing. That's where teams sort of got into us last season. They were high pressing. We noticed that with England in the sort of semi-final game. I think it was that we pressed quite high, and we had more joy there. And I think that the higher up the pitch we play, and the more pressure we've got on their defences, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
He's certainly going to get people off their seats next season. You can see that already. Looking at some of the clips from the Orlando game, where his step overs are just a different level. I think we're going to see, like Aaron said in the Argyle Life podcast, about him being the Lassie regen, and he does look like that. Yeah. He looks really, really tricky, really, really quick. Looks like he's got an eye for a goal as well. So it's going to be interesting to see.
His pace is frightening, and he reminds me in some ways of, I don't know if you guys are remembering Balassi, Yannick Balassi when he was at the club.
Yeah, I've just said about him. Yeah.
I mean, he was just like running at people, and people can't cope with that, so they're all going to bring him down, always going to get through and score or whatever.
I think that's why we saw Randall taking a lot of free kicks in Marbella as well, because I think he's going to be tackled quite regularly, so we could end up having quite a lot of free kicks. So we need someone on set pieces that are going to.
Oh God! Yeah, someone did note that, didn't they? I did see a post on X, I think, about the corners. Like, we still need to sort them out. Set pieces. So yeah,
a bit of height in there. I think I'm looking at Mohammed. What's the other guy? Tijani. I'm looking at Tijani's height and he can head the ball as well. And Sissoko can head the ball. We saw that from Whitaker's cross. So if that's coming from a corner and one of them get their noggin on it, then it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for those that have just joined in as well. Sort of my moderators, Carl and Andy, will also hopefully keep a track of that and say hello where they can in the comments. Marcus has also said that their goalkeeper didn't have a moment's rest to breathe with any back passes, which is what I just said. I love that sort of thing happening and going on. The only problem Marcus has also said with Sissoko is keeping him in January, and I think this is always the risk with loan players, isn't it? Is if they step up and all that sort of stuff. Azaz is the perfect example, I think, out of any of them last season, where we all felt it cost us the most. But ultimately, I think there's an element of where Foster did more of that damage, clearly, and that is fact, than Azaz going. But if Rooney wants to continue and play this attacking football, which it looks like it will be, then if he does go in January, there'll be someone lined up, I'm sure, to come in. So it'll be interesting to see. So I'm going to move on now. If I can,
Mike, I'm just picking up. Sorry, I'm just picking up on go on then's comment about Balling the sort of left mid 4-4-2 on the new guy. I quite like Ballingham, but on the left or the right, because I think Better will sort of hold his position. Then I think he held his position against Cheltenham yesterday, which gave the sort of forward line more free way to run. So that's a good point. I sort of have Bally in there.
It'd be interesting to see how Barley adapts next season, because obviously we all know Barley is a left wing back, don't we? So he's not going to be bombing up and down like we're used to seeing him. So he's going to be more defensive than attacking, I think, next season.
Yeah.
Do you see him and Sissoko sort of chopping and changing around?
That's what we'll see in the next few pre-season games. Hopefully we'll get some kind of early signs of that coming to fruition in those pre-season games before the season starts. That's potentially what could happen.
Yeah, no, exactly. And as Marcus has made second comment, we had no plan B in January when Azaz left, but we won't make that mistake again. And no, because also we haven't got the manager shift. Well, saying that, I mean, there's still the links of Rooney in England, and anything can happen. And assuming Rooney does establish well, and I think he will, again, fingers crossed, then yes, we shouldn't hit that same situation again. Before I move on to Tijani, Steve Vaughan has said, was it 4-3-3 or 4-2-4 yesterday? So Stephen, the sort of post-match interview seemed to suggest a 4-4-2, but it was all about attacking, switching up play, and being allowed to play up high on the pitch. So Nathaniel Better sort of noted that he was allowed to sort of go forward when he could as well. So
I think it looked like a 4-2-4 because of the kind of the wingers getting up with the front guys as well. But I think as we lined up as a 4-4-2, but with the wingers pushing more forward, I think it looked a lot more in the box, like I said earlier.
Absolutely. Stephen also goes to say no midfielder scored from midfield since Azaz left that season. Yeah, it's an interesting point. And obviously, Mark, we won't dwell on this name too much going forward, hopefully. But yeah, Foster reminds me of Southgate, so negative. And that is interesting. We said about it yesterday or Friday night when I was with Andy, I think, about how he was FA coach and trained, and there's so many similarities, which is, so whoever goes into that England manager job needs to sort of say, listen, folks, we're going to do it my way, not your way. Right, we'll move on to the man. Oh, no, not him. There we go. I've got a better option of him somewhere. There we go. Is that, yeah? Tijani. I was trying to dig out some photos with them from the game that I could properly utilise before I came on the show. So obviously striker, on loan from Slavia Prague, 2 goals in the game, the one where, so we said chasing down the goalkeeper, and his second goal where, a bit of footwork inside the box and smashed it into the back of the goal, I mean, we're going to be, it's going to be some really good competition, because although Xhaka, who is my player hopefully to watch for next season, isn't class as a striker. Is he not midfield really more than even a forward, but he can still do really well. You've got obviously Wayne, you've got Hardy, etc. So there's more, and Bundu. Jesus, do you know what? Bundu started the game yesterday, and I didn't hear much on Bundu, and I would like to sort of know from anybody how he did. But yeah, we've got potentially another star on our hands with Tijani, gents.
Yeah, definitely. Tijani looks the real deal to me. He's got something that we haven't had for a long time, pace, and he's got a bit of something about him. He's skillful. He knows where the net is, clearly. Getting two yesterday, and he'll feed off people like Whittaker and the midfielders who eventually sort of come in there and do the job.
Yeah, Carl, thoughts?
Pretty much what Andy has said. I think we haven't really had a proper... would you say he's a target man, so to speak?
Yeah, I'd say for his height, he's a good target man. Hardy's more to feet, I would say,
but,
running onto things, but he's a more target man.
Up front that's got the height, got the strength, and then looks like he's got a decent hard shot on him as well, looking at the last goal he scored yesterday. So
he reminds me a little bit of Freddie Freddie Ladapo, but
very much so. Very
on
much
his
so.
day when he was in the box, a fox in the box, he knew where the net was, and he's a target man.
Very similar player, I would say.
Yeah, I think he would. Yeah, you're right.
I just noticed we have got someone in the guest lobby with just the name of H who follows me but with an Argyle flag. So I shall accept you in. So we'll give you. Let me just make sure I do this right. Oh, is he there or is he gone? It might have been that I left it too long. So
and a big welcome to all the others coming in. Coco, Coco,
you can request. Sorry.
Morgan Whittaker's coming to Rangers. Well, we'll have to talk about that later on. We disagree on that one, but hey.
I'll come on to that when we come on to him for his goal, which, funny enough, is next. So, no, I don't want to select that one. There we go. That's the one I want. So let me find him. Was he there? There he is. So Whittaker.
Well, he looks really old in that photo. Or is it
He's focused, Carl. Look at the focus on his face. So, and obviously that is from yesterday's game, clearly, because it's the new kit, which I'm still not 100% sure about. But this is, if we'll start off briefly with the Rangers bid. So there was a 7 million bid that sort of was noted yesterday from Rangers. Argyle rejected, and supposedly Rangers are looking to up it. And yes, so mate, you would like to try and come in again in a minute. I shall do that if you
try again, H.
Yeah. We'll just finish off my Whittaker piece. Obviously, Rooney has clearly stipulated and reiterated again yesterday that, it would be a crazy bid for us to take him. I have a couple of questions on that. Is it Scotland right for him? I'm just going to bring H in. Is Scotland right for him? And I think Rooney is the man to really strengthen the weaknesses that Whittaker has. And if Whittaker's enjoying playing under Rooney and all the pre-season, it's unless the club just say, sorry, mate, we're going to sell you because we need that money. Will the player want to go? So H, afternoon first and foremost, and how are you doing?
I'm good.
What's your thoughts, mate, on the game yesterday?
It was alright.
Yeah. What?
I tried watching it, but
yeah.
There's some app said you can watch it, but I couldn't. So
there's always apps where you can watch things, but certain things you probably don't want to be watching on those apps either.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on the two new players and the two loanees that scored, Sissoko and Tijani?
Well, I've only seen the I can't pronounce their names, but against Orlando Pirates, as soon as that little player who came on, I thought he did well. As soon as he came on, he got an assist, but. I didn't really see what happened yesterday though.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Look, so just sort of some last points. Are you looking forward to the season? Are you happy Rooney's in charge? You sound, how old are you, mate, if you don't mind me asking?
14 nearly.
Yeah, so do you get to go to Argyle games?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're excited then for the new season?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, look, keep following us, and then you can join in these chats in future as well. Always appreciate contributions. So give us a like and a follow. I know you do on my channel. Obviously, we got the Block 9 at Block 9 podcast. As we build that, try and build that one up as well. But yeah, any questions before you go?
Is it true Whitaker's going?
So we were just coming on to that. So I think it's personally, in my opinion, he's not. I'm just gonna there you go. Just take out of the chat. So I still don't think he is going, and I just don't think Scotland would be right for him. And on those two sort of points, Carl, what's your gut feeling say?
I think he'll stay for another season. If I'm honest, I don't think 7 million is going to tempt the Argyle board at all in the slightest.
Yeah,
I think they're looking for probably at least 10. If I'm honest, 10 to 12 million. I think it's a fair price to maybe start talking. I find it strange that Rangers wouldn't even consider spending £2 million on him last summer, but they're quite happy to pay £7 million this summer. Which is a bit of a strange one. But no, I'd like to see him again under Rooney for another season. And if he has another strong season again this season, then maybe he will look to maybe test the waters further up the league. But I don't think Scotland's the right place to go to further his career. Yes, he might get Champions League football, which he would love to play in. But I think
Argyle, mate, soon. We win the FA Cup.
I think he's destined for the Premier League. If I'm honest.
Yeah, I agree. Andy.
I mean, Morgan's one of those players. He's a complex player, and I think Marcus earlier on said in his chat that him and Ogbeta were together at Swansea, and I think they're good mates. And I don't think that Ogbeta would come down here, and not sort of have someone down here that he's, au fait with or knows down here very well. So I think Morgan will stay, and I think, like as Carl says, another season here, bag another 20 goals. That's going to add a few more notes on the end of your contract, isn't it?
And like Marcus has just said about the 25% sell-on clause, so that's why we need to get as much as possible. So if you sell them for 7 and they get 25%, there's a massive hit on that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, Marcus, and we appreciate the comments and the engagement. Afternoon, everybody else that's just recently joined in. We are talking about, as you can tell from the graphic, Argyle's post-match game against Cheltenham yesterday. I think, Cooper starting yesterday, and, if he was going, would he start? Would Hazard not have started? It's one of those, if you have an inkling that a player is going and the player wants to go, that tends to dictate, doesn't it, some of these lineups and stuff. And we've said it. We said it yesterday. There's a few, and obviously, Marcus, you'll remember that there's a few that sort of feel that sort of Cooper hasn't been looking happy in these pre-season training sessions, but sort of it can be just the moment the camera captures at the end of the day. So
generally they're focused, aren't they, these players? Yeah,
and if we can keep hold of Cooper and Whitaker, would be. I mean, obviously Cooper has a year left. Am I right with that? So
yeah.
There is that risk, but I'm sure as a homegrown.
I think it's a risk worth taking. People keep saying, especially our friend Craig on YouTube, sell him, but I think if we all want to stay up again next season, so I think that's worth more to us than a couple of £1 million now. If we manage to keep Cooper for another 12 months, he keeps us up again. I think that's all we really want next season. So if he does that, we wish him well, and he moves on to another club. But I think selling him now would be a bad mistake.
He's got to be a part of that spine. He's got to be. He's got the spine of the team. You've got Cooper, heading up the midfield and defence. So you've got Gibson. And you've got, say, Whitaker and whoever in midfield, and then up front you've got Sissoko or Hardy to fire off. So you've got to keep Rooney spine, I think.
Rooney did say that Cooper, is a big part of his plans for the way he wants to play. And we all know that Cooper's distribution of the ball is a lot sharper and a lot quicker than and better overall than Hazard's. Even though I'm not anti-Hazard, so I think there'll be a sort of a big push to keep him. So, but it's nice that it is quiet, as we get into these pre-seasons. But there's still, still a bit of time to go, isn't there, before that transfer window does
There's
close.
still very strong rumours about Cooper, there, isn't there? Especially regarding Sheffield United, which I find still is a bit of a strange move. I think, again, he should be looking at a Prem move, lower half of a Prem move. I think, obviously, Sheffield United will be up there or thereabouts this season. But they're a bit of a yo-yo team anyway, like Norwich, aren't they? So would that be a great career move, Sheffield United?
At the end of the day, it could all be down.
Yes, obviously it's going to probably double, triple his wages even going to Sheffield United. But I think he should hold out for there's Crystal Palace rumours before as well, which again is more tempting, I would say. But I think he would want to stay for another 12 months, put his name back out there, have another strong season, and there'll be more interest in the summer, regardless of us getting money or not.
I'd say that his agent is making more of this than anything.
Probably, yeah.
Well, they always will when that's a job. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean, I see your comment as well about Craig. We're not going to go there with that one, mate, because we sort of want to try to support as many people as we can, despite what we think about them. But yeah,
we respect his views, obviously, but not everyone's going to agree with them.
No, not everybody also will agree with us, gents.
Definitely
to put all that into context as well. But 99%.
I think Sean, keep your focus on Jana's on tour. Jana's on tour is a good thing, and it's a brilliant vlog. And I love the content that you, Sam, and Rich, create there. It's good.
Yeah,
I'm surprised nobody's mentioned about Adam Forshaw presenting the TikTok live today.
Well, I haven't been
because he has been missing throughout the whole pre-season.
Yeah. So picking up on that, what was the reason he missed Marbella?
I think he was there, but he was doing a lot of gym work, wasn't he? Behind the scenes,
he's doing TikTok live.
yeah. But
while working at the range, to supplement his income for not getting game match appearance bonuses.
We all know what we're getting with Forshaw, don't we? When he's fit, he's a good player, but he's going to spend a lot of the time on the sidelines. So that's what we're going to expect this season again, I reckon.
Rooney would have come in with being aware of that. I mean, for sure, he looked good when he does have. He's very controlled, calm and composed on the ball, a lot more than I am. And my position is normally goalkeeper. I don't think he'll make it there. But but he is that injury prone, and he is in the latter stages of his career. It was a bit more of a distressed purchase. I'm guessing we had to sign him because there was going to be no loan opportunity for him. But we'll see what happens. But Rooney's going to be built. Rooney wants to build on sort of youngsters and players that are really hungry in their sort of sort of early prime. That's where he's going to want to go. Like Edwards. I don't know how Edwards did yesterday. Massive fan, not just because he has the same surname as me and we're not related. But it's
and you're both very short as well, aren't you?
Say again.
You're both very short.
Well, I'm not short, no, thankfully. So it'd be interesting to sort of see how he does in pre-season. His commitment and energy is certainly not something anybody's going to discredit. Injury is what Divine Macy has said that she's heard on the radio. I also noticed that Divine Macy also said if we did sell Coops, maybe get him back on loan for the rest of the season. There is always those sort of deals that can happen out there.
I can't see that happening.
I can't.
He'll go as a number one, won't he? He's not going to go as a reserve keeper anyway.
No.
And also, if you've just been sold by the club that you've sort of been at from the start of your career, then you go to someone like Sheffield United. Yeah, great move for you. I don't really think coming back and just playing on loan for us is going to be too healthy. It's going to sort of like rub our noses because he's not effectively our player. He's their player, and even though we're getting the benefits from that, we're not seeing him in the green shirt as an Argyle player, as an Argyle member of staff, if you like.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've just, it was the only image I could really find, which was with a post-match to the away fans, so it's a little bit pixelated, that one. But
I think a picture of a hot dog would have been better.
Do you want to do this, Carl?
I'm just looking for a hot dog. I can't find one on there anyway.
Well, I just had my roast dinner, so I'm not interested in food right now. So, Mark is also saying Edwards will end up on the coaching staff. Yeah, I really hope so. I think that's a good shout. Good experience with what's going on around him. Also, Marcus is saying Cooper will go to Crystal Palace more than Sheffield United. Yeah, wouldn't disagree. I don't think Sheffield United that is the right choice. So, welcome to all those that are just dropping in as well. So on to Hardy then. So as I said, after missing, his penalty wasn't horrendous. I mean, it was directed right to the bottom corner, but keeper did well to save it. But to get a goal, yes, it was a rebound. He sort of ran onto the ball, didn't he? I think it was sort of passed into him. Sort of volleyed it in as he does, normal sort of striker that you see from Hardy, saved by the keeper, and then he followed it up with smashing it into the far side of the goal. So good for him to get that off his back with that penalty miss. I know it's only pre-season, but these things play on people's minds, don't they? Players' minds. So thoughts on Hardy, not even just yesterday, but for the season ahead? He's going to face some stiff competition, isn't he?
Do you want to go first, Carl?
Yeah, can do. Going back to the 4-4-2 again, isn't it? I think if we go with that with the season opener, I think he's going to have that support up there. Hopefully he won't be knackered by the time we get to January and February time. He's probably still pissed off mentally that he didn't get the Scotland call, which I find really hard to believe.
Oh, yeah.
Coming back from that mentally is going to be difficult for him. But I think if he has another strong start, which he tends to do every season, he always starts the season strong and then tails off at the end of the season. But that's down to how we've been lining up. I think now if we've got another striker alongside him, we should get a full season of Hardy being fit and being on the score sheet. So yeah, I think it's looking again. I think Hardy will give us a lot of goals going forward next season, and with added support, hopefully we'll have a fit Hardy all season.
Yeah, agree with that, Andy.
Yeah. Do you know Ryan Hardy is probably one of the most underrated players at the club. He does a lot of running off the ball. He works solidly.
Amazing stamina.
At the club. I saw one game last season that I think we talked about it, Mike, where he just ran himself into the ground for like 90 odd minutes. Yeah. And he just gave 110%, and it was just amazing. And he looked wiped out, and he had to physically come off because he was wiped out.
I remember that game. He got standing applause, didn't he, during that little moment in the corner where he kept chasing the balls and closing the goal.
Incredible. And that's the sort of commitment you want. And I think it was... who was it said? Divine Macy said earlier on, he's the sort of player that you want sort of in your team because he's going to run at people, he's going to give them stick. He's just great to have in there, isn't he? That's one of those.
His stamina levels, like Edwards and that, are super impressive. I sort of think, like Carl said, with the backup that'll be on the bench, the options that we'll have. We might see less of Hardy, or we might see sort of more, and just working really well with sort of Tijani and however else sort of Rooney wants to set up the play. So it's good that we're not going to be just reliant on Hardy. Ben Waine, I said Friday night when Andy and I were on here that I've noticed in that sort of Orlando Pirates game in the video feed that at kickoff he looked like he'd filled out big time. He
looks a lot more muscly, doesn't he?
Yeah, correct. And a bit like an Andy Murray moment where he sort of I've gone and put on. I've got no muscles.
Can you do that again so I can screenshot it, Mike?
Yeah, no, you can't. I have a fee if you want to screenshot and share my photos, Carl. But yeah, I think just as while I'm thinking about it, and I don't like these diamond things. I don't know where you go to press them. As long as they don't cost anybody anything, like gifts do, then please put some diamonds on. Assuming you like it and you're happy with what we're doing. But yeah, so I think Wayne is going to be interesting. Did he come on? Was he even on the second half?
Hasn't he gone away to the Olympics?
He's gone away with New Zealand, hasn't he?
That was going to be my next question. How long is he away with the Olympics? Because he's clearly going to miss the start of the season now, isn't he? Surely.
That's an interesting one, then, isn't it? To be for him to have been allowed to go, as well as Divina said that. Saxon Early. We'll come on to him, Marcus. We did discuss him on Friday, didn't we? It'll be interesting whether or not Rooney and that has seen that and advice from the club to say, let him get out there and have some games. He might have potential, so we might not, because there was a loan suggested. Do we loan him out? And it might not be one where we're ready to do that yet. So. But you're right, that's a bit of a commitment to let a player do that, so we'll see what that, but he definitely looks like he's filled out, and he needed to because, he he was a bit of a skinflint on the pitch. So it's good to see. And to be fair to him, it looks like he's done a huge amount of that in his own time off, and that says a lot about a player if he's really gone to town to commit to the cause, for sure. But we've got some good options there now, and I think that's going to be exciting to see.
It wouldn't surprise me if we still get another forward in the transfer window with him missing for a few weeks. I still think there's another spot available up front.
Yeah, absolutely. So just on the Saxon Early comment, for me, sort of, I said the other day, and I've always felt that there's something about this player, so hopefully he can stay injury free, and provide some good support there. Is he left back, if I remember correctly? But yeah, he sort of impressed me with the small amounts of time that we did see of him. But Carl, Andy, any thoughts on Saxon Early?
I shared the other night with you that it's like a new signing for us. He looked really sharp against Orlando Pirates when he came on. I like him as a player himself because he's got something about him. When he first arrived to the club, I just thought, never heard of this guy. Who is he? What's he going to do? But he did surprise me. So I think he's going to do well for us.
Yeah, no, don't disagree. So,
like Andy said, it's like having another signing. Hopefully, he'll stay fit for a large proportion of the season. We saw glimpses last season early on, or the season before that. I can't remember when he joined us now. Yeah, but he scored. I think he scored against Oxford away, so he can give us an attacking threat as well going forwards. It'd be interesting to see how he does this season. Hopefully, he stays fit, stays in the team or on the bench. Whether that needs another loan to keep him fit, I don't know, but I think he'll be there or thereabouts in the squad this season.
So yeah, absolutely. Oh, so we just had a Ryan Windle post saying, "Hi, what is Miller like?" That we signed Huddersfield. Am I correct off the top of my head?
Yeah.
So, to be fair, I like the options that we've got on loan now, to replace him. But I always like Miller. I think the issue is keeping him fit. He did stay consistently fit for the sort of latter stages of the season. He can pit in and definitely ball into the box if players can get in there. Can really dig out a cross from what you'd almost think from nowhere. Got good pace and prepared to attack players as well. So it was a thumbs up from me, Miller. So I was a little bit gutted to see him go. But Carl, what was your thoughts on Miller?
Yeah, pretty much what you said. Obviously, he stayed fit for a large proportion of last season, which I think has been his longest season in football, probably. You know what you get with Miller. He's pacey, he's tricky, he can get across into the box. I think his end product is non-existent, if I'm honest. The amount of positions he got into last season and didn't get the correct pass or the correct ball in. Yeah, I don't think he's ever scored for us either, has he? I might be wrong on that one. If he has, it might be only 1 or 2 goals, but I can't think of anything recently that he's actually contributed for. I think it's a good signing for Huddersfield, especially at League One level, which I think's his level, if I'm honest. But yeah, if you keep him fit, can get the players in the box, and if he can get his crossing correct, then yeah, it's a decent signing for Huddersfield.
Yeah, and Andy, any thoughts on Miller?
You got yourself a good little player there, Huddersfield, to be fair. And as Carl's already said, I think League One level is his stage really for him. I think he did score 1, but I think it was deflected and went in. I can't remember which game it was now, but he did get 1 last season. Got some really good pace about him. If he runs at people, he'll put the fear of God at them. He'll just get in their faces. But he's not. I wouldn't say he's a one-trick pony, but he does like to maraud down the wing. So you've got a good player there, to be fair, Huddersfield. As Carl said, keep him fit. You've got a great player there.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus has just said 1 goal and 1 assist from Miller last season, which are stats that never look good for any player. He had a lot of that, out with injury. But I did always feel he sparked the game up. My view, I was quite strong actually on X with my view on Mumba, and especially in the sort of halfway through the season, he just didn't seem to be able to take on players. He scored that wonder goal at the start of the season, which was against Huddersfield, wasn't it? And then it was just like from there, just nowhere. And actually, when Miller came on, I always felt, I know Mumba was played not always in his favourite position, but favourite side, but I just felt Miller did bring more to the table. I think he will turn some players inside out in League One, but let's wait and see. Maybe he'll come back in as the season starts to kick in and join us on a session and let us know if we don't see about it ourselves. So Blake, come on, you Janners, absolutely, mate.
We just had I think Blake wanted to come in onto our chat. Is that right, Blake? If you want to come into our chat, mate, just hit the
request
button again, mate.
Yeah, if you can monitor that for us. Sean said he was the only one who didn't renew his contract, and I think that was telling. As soon as Galloway, I think, saw Rooney was coming down from past little friendlies that he had played with him, he almost went, "Give me that pen," and Miller just went, "No thanks." So good luck to your season and see what happens there with him.
Yeah, all the best to Huddersfield. Hope they're back up with us next season.
Yeah, exactly. As Marcus has also said, then again with Foster, no one was in the box when Miller crosses. That's what I mean. He can put in an unbelievable cross in there. Just someone's got to be on the end of it. In keeping up with the pace, which is where I think your Tajanis, and Sissoko's and Whitakers and all that lot now with that sort of in the lineup, are going to get down and into those areas, aren't they? So,
thanks for the likes, guys, as well. We see the likes going through there. Fantastic. Thanks, Divine.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Andy. So NXVN has asked, do you think Plymouth will do well with Rooney this year? So Andy just put a poll up. I did see the results, but only said one vote, Andy, as we are, testing out some of the functionality on TikTok Lives. My opinion on Rooney is, I think we will do well. I think I've said that it's a club and a coach, or player. Sometimes Whitaker's a good example of that. They can just come to the right club and it just gels really well. We're not stuck up our own, what's-its. We're a club that's very honest, with what we do. We're well run, so we don't commit to things or just chuck money at stuff, and there's a few clubs that are like that, and some very similar to the way we're managed as well. So I think it will be interesting. If it goes wrong, it will badly affect the club, I feel. But I think we'll do well. And Andy's poll was based around where do you think we'll finish next season? I think with the potential, and it is early on, I think mid-table, sort of top end half of the table, I think could be achievable, realistic. But that's saying something because it's such a strong league. But as long as we don't lose key players, as long as Rooney doesn't end up leaving for doing well, if that's the case during the season, I think we've got something promising there. So, Carl, your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much the same thought process as you. I was quite surprised when he came in, obviously after all the other names we were linked with before the Rooney news broke. I was a bit apprehensive at first, obviously with his track record recently. But he's at a stable club now. He's at a well-run club on and off the field. He didn't have that at Birmingham. He didn't have that at Derby County. He didn't sign any players at Derby or Birmingham. I think he obviously came into the wrong moment at Birmingham after them sacking Eustace, which the fans didn't really want at the time. They didn't want Rooney at the club, so it never got off to a flying start. Of course, he got sacked before the transfer window, so he didn't really have a stamp on the club at all, did he? So it'd be interesting to see him. Like I said here, he's had a pre-season. He's signed 5 players so far, which he has never done before. So it's going to be interesting. Definitely.
Yeah, Andy?
Well. Yeah, I'm going to go pretty much the same as you guys, but I'm going to say sort of an upper sort of mid-table position for us. I don't know, 15th, 16th for us. I think Rooney's going to bring the players he wants in. This guy, Cisse, I'm not sure if he's going to come in or not, but he sounds a promising.
Which club's he from? Because I think Marcus mentioned about a Villa forward or something being linked, if I've not mistaken.
I just briefly caught it on X before I came on, Mike. So I can't remember the club now, but it's not Gabriel Cisse. It's not one of those. I wish it was
coming out of retirement,
but it is a Cisse. Who's going to bring something, and Rooney know the players he wants to bring to the club. Also been talk about Hasney Al Jafre's boy from Man United Academy. Whether he'll come down or not, we don't know.
Well, that's speaking of which, just to jump in on that, there was I assumed that there'd be some good talent that Rooney would get from United, and if I'm right in saying none of them have been linked with United, so it'd be interesting to see if there is. Rashford needs to reset his head, doesn't he?
Get him down for the season. Season one.
Bring him down. But
I think seriously though, you think Everton and United have probably got players that Rooney's got to keep his tabs on. He's got contacts with both clubs. Who's to say that he won't bring any of those academy players down?
I hope he's got David De Gea's number.
Yeah, I tell you Cooper goes
and then comes in. That could be quite the eyeball signing of the season, couldn't it?
God, that would be interesting. I do follow him on Insta. So he's been keeping himself at least in trim. Sean's also saying someone told him that we're going to get promotion next season. Come on, Sean, just admit it. That's what you're thinking. Yeah? That's not someone telling you. Unless it was Sam. Unless Sam's with
Sam, yeah.
There might be a promotion in the club shop, but I'm not sure we'll get one on the pitch.
Well, I tell you what, and it's not sponsored by, but there's plenty of promotions on at the range. But anyway, moving on. No. Sean said no, that isn't his view. But anything can happen. You've only got to have a decent start and a decent run and maintain the momentum. And sort of anything's open on the table, isn't it?
I just think it happened with Ipswich last season. They got memento from following up to us up to the Championship, and they just went out and succeeded, didn't they? They just exceeded their expectations almost. They had a good manager there, and I think Rooney will be a good manager for us. I think he will bring something different. And, as Carl's already said, there's going to be a window for him, which he's already sort of dipped into. He's going to bring more players in, and the style of football is going to be back to what we used to under Schumacher and Ryan Lowe at the time. So it's going to look promising for us.
I think he's learnt lessons from his previous managerial roles. I think he would have learnt a lot from Birmingham. And like I said, having a full pre-season at a club, signing players he wants. I think we'll see a different Rooney next season. Even in some pre-match interviews we've seen, he's smiling as well, which is good to see. He looks happy.
It's good to see him not have the hat on all the time as well.
That's what was really impressive last night. He didn't have a hat on during his post-match interview, which was quite interesting. You could actually see some more hairs growing, so maybe that's potentially why.
His contract has ended with that brand. Normally, like speaking of Rooney, his post-match interview generally was happy with the patterns of play because that's what they've been working on. In pre-season and training, he did note areas of improvement. Didn't highlight specifically which of those, but he did say there was some elements of sloppiness going on. So that's interesting. It's always good to have things to pick up on and work on because you want to really iron out those, see those creases and iron them out very early on. And obviously, of course, he was happy with getting 5 goals and was impressed with the following. And speaking of following, there was 2,339 in attendance yesterday, of which 785 of them were Green Army away fans. So pretty good for a pre-season.
The next pre-season is against Torquay, I believe, on the 27th, isn't it? Away.
Yeah, just going to go back to his notes. Marcus, you've shows I wasn't paying full attention, but Marcus is saying he did say the defence needed improving. The next games are Torquay away on Saturday, the 27th of July. I don't know who's going to that. I haven't even thought about it at the moment. It's an option that if there is tickets, is there tickets, gents, still for that one?
That sold out a few weeks ago, didn't it? Unless you go in the home end.
So we just turn up and cause a riot, and we'll go live outside the ground and on here and all that jazz.
I think Rooney will create a riot anyway.
Beat Tavistock last night, didn't they?
Who's that?
Torquay actually came down and beat Tavistock last night, gave Tavistock 10 a game.
Speaking of coming down, I'm guessing the reason why we couldn't have any games at home is because of the pitch being relayed. Yeah, because it just seems... I mean, I don't know the reasons. Someone might know the reasons the pitch was relayed because it was a pretty good pitch. I know it was very old, though, because it was done as we exited the Championship last time, but in administration. But, it's a shame. As everybody's buzzing for Rooney, everybody's buzzing for these players, and yet we can't watch them at home. But fair play to those that...
It looks like the pitch is done from behind you, Mike. Even the lights.
I know. Really good.
And the advertising boards are up as well. There's nothing displayed on the advertising boards.
So if I can get my finger on the camera here, so Andy and I sit about here. Carl's like not really
I'm block 11. I'm the next block along from that one.
Yeah. And then Sam, who's also part of Jana's on tour, sits in block 9 as well. So that's why I focus on that section, because in the space that I've got for that. So yeah, and then Tuesday the 30th of July is Bristol Rovers, which is a 7 o'clock kickoff.
Hello, Wednesday fan, welcome.
Yeah, we did that. The other fan that was on NXVN, probably got that the wrong way round, was a Bristol City fan.
We've got AJ5, who's a Sheffield Wednesday fan, so welcome to him, mate. I hope you're going to enjoy your season as well. Probably not the first game now.
What a turnaround that was last season.
Thoughts on Pompey? Well, Pompey are a good side. They've just come up from the League One, won it, quite well. They've got some good players there. If we can get past Sean Raggett, it'll be okay. He looks a bit clumsy, whether he's still at the club or not. But yeah, Pompey look good.
I can nail on saying it's going to be Pompey 2, Argyle 2 next season.
Well, I did do, I think it was the FA Cup game where Pompey in league above us back then. But yeah, I remember going to that game and it was a great match that. So yeah, but it's good to have the old Dockyard derby back, some form of a derby, isn't it?
Raggett's at Rotherham now. Rotherham are good. Rotherham have been buying loads of players. I think they've got about 15 players or so.
I think they signed a whole new squad by the sounds of it.
Yes. Raggett would be good for them. I think, I saw Raggett when he played last down here a couple of seasons ago when we actually won the Champions. And he got done for the second goal, and I could hear like 4-0 written all over it, sort of talking about Raggett and saying it's Raggett's fault again. So yeah, good stuff.
So Liam, we've just literally just finished talking about Rooney actually, but in summary, yeah, we're all positive to what he's doing and what is likely to come down the line. So that's all good. AJ 5 Gaming, the Wednesday fan, the emotions of sort of staying up. It's just. Yeah, that's what football's about, isn't it? It is emotional, and it can affect you more than you realise. I think I got quite angry at the end of last season with Foster, and I stuck it out with Foster. I'm not afraid to admit that. I was trying to push for the sort of calm, but eventually even I broke on that one. So
Lewis and all those coming in. Yeah, welcome guys are coming in now.
Yeah, look, we do have, so you can see up there in let's get my finger in the right place. B9 stands for the Block 9, which is that's behind us here at Home Park. That's where most of us sit. Argyle, like I said, Carl, like I said, is the outcast. He sits a couple of blocks over.
I used to be block 9 for many years, so I'm at heart.
You did, and I used to have a seat. Oh, hang on, where's my finger gone? I used to have a seat here for a few seasons before that, because I did decide to miss one season. Would have been kid related. So then when I got back in, I was then stuck over there, and I was desperate to sort of get back. And anybody that knows the Banana Bus boys, Jason and that who drives and leads that, he sits next to me. So, and it's a great crowd that sit in that section. So although we do have the guys that bang the signs at the back on the end, and if you're on or follow or whatever, then yeah, that can get a bit annoying after a while. And that's right behind you, Andy, as well. That
yeah, it is, mate. Andy, just picking up on your comment about thoughts on Rangers and for Whittaker. We've discussed it earlier on, mate. Sorry. Thoughts are that Morgan, I don't think Morgan will be going anywhere just in that minute, because he's found his happy place, I think. You can see it in his play. When we got him back here the first time, he went back to Swansea, if you remember, and he was really unhappy at Swansea. And then we all thought he was going to go to Rangers for like 3 million, because I think Rangers put a bid in for 3 million that season. And he came back to Argyle for 1 million. And so it shows that he really loves the place down here. He's got he's found his happy place. He's in his happy zone. And I just think he's going to stay with us for a while.
I just noticed we have another guest request, gents, from a thin 1888. I'm just going to see if that's still valid, see if he can still get in. While we wait for that to connect, Finn, if you're still on and listening, because sometimes if we don't spot these, then they can time out. So it's trying to connect. So we'll carry on and see if that happens. AJ, are you travelling down to Sheffield first game? Everything's travelling up.
Everything's travelling up,
Yeah, I'll be there home and away. Love that. I like that Hardy has finally found somewhere to settle and do well. Was never given a chance at us. That was from Ali Laird.
I'm guessing he's a Blackpool fan then, is he?
Ali, you a Blackburn?
Blackburn.
Blackburn. Oh dear.
Blackpool fan?
That's why I've got you two on here, because I would never.
You wouldn't even pick up on that, would you? You'd have been, Blackburn fan.
Oh, you're a Rangers fan. Oh, yeah, he's a Rangers. He's a Rangers fan, Hardy, isn't he?
Well, he started off at Rangers as a youth player, didn't he?
Yeah, Rangers. Great side, Rangers, and I think he might have started up there when Rangers had all those issues, way back when they had to go down through the leagues. I might be wrong there, but you might.
I think you're right, Andy.
Ali.
Oh, I got another request. Let's just see. Wow. Let's see if that person wants to come on and say something. Oh, hello, Wow. Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I just want to say Plymouth are a tin pot shit club.
Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that.
What's this? The 3 fans?
Who's you follow? Wow.
Not Plymouth, anyway.
Well, I know that. I can tell by your voice, mate. Who do you follow?
Nah, Plymouth are shit, though, and you're taking it as if they're some amazing club.
There we go. So
I still wanted to know who he supported. Like,
I'm not interested.
You cut him off
Dent Mirren or something.
Don't really care. You can sit there in his boxer shorts in front of his
Sean, do you want to hit
his laptop and whatever. So,
Sean, if you want to hit the request, Sean, we'll invite you on board, mate.
Oh, I quite liked him.
Yeah, Sean, you just got to do that. I might be able to do it. Hang on, let me see. Sean Fallick invite. We're always going to have those funny ones come on, aren't we? So, I had a psychic medium yesterday.
Yeah. And that was Divine laughing, though. You weren't agreeing with Divine. No.
It was funny.
How you doing, Sean?
Hello, Sean.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Welcome aboard, mate.
Yo.
So this guy's is Sean from the Janners on Tour vlog. He helps out with Sam and Rich to do their vlogs. Really good vlog on YouTube. Get over and follow it and subscribe to it. It's a good little vlog. But welcome, Sean. What have you got to say to us, mate?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, you like it?
I was a bit gutted yesterday because only this morning I found out you could watch the game.
Yeah, how did you find Sean? I see you noted that actually. I forgot to raise it, but how and where?
Fire stick. On the fire stick.
Yeah, come on, Carl. We're not condoning any illegal streaming.
We're not condoning legal streaming, yeah.
Yeah, Carl does not have a fire stick and do anything of that nature.
It's a perfectly legal one, just for Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think clearly Argyle had highlights reel, and there was someone there with dodgy Zoom techniques filming the game. So, let's look out for the other games. I think, Sean, it's a shame that they don't find a way in, even if it's, you remember the old Tuesday night red button Sky games where the camera must be stuck on the roof, and that it was Bristol City where we got absolutely mullered, and it was like you just looking down, and I'm like, it's like watching Subbuteo for those that remember Subbuteo. Surely, I mean, Christ, I could stand over my phone and stream it on TikTok if I had a battery pack and a decent mobile connection. So, there's a chance to make some money, but there you go, don't seem to want to do it.
Sean, who actually streaming it? Was it Cheltenham's side, I'm presuming?
I didn't check it. I only seen it that you could watch it. I checked it this morning.
Typical.
Yeah. It's,
follow, mate. Jason Plumber.
So I'm going to see if on the same place if I can watch Torquay on Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be a good one they all would be, wouldn't they? Because it's exciting when you have so many changes, new manager and all that sort of stuff.
It would be interesting to know why these aren't actually streamed by the club. It doesn't make any sense. Surely if they even charged a couple of quid, fans would pay to watch it. So
that's my point, yeah. I mean, I'd pay a £5
for pre-season, surely.
Yeah. Absolutely agree, and I think I was, speaking of which, on that, it was on Cheltenham's site. You could, so there we go. So that will teach us a lesson. So let's look on the opposing club's website, as they're probably equivalent of Argyle TV. We're streaming it, as Marcus has just pointed out. I just noticed that AJ5 has just asked the backroom staff. Carl, Andy, do you want to answer that one?
Pete Shuttle. Go on, Andy.
Yeah, so gone.
Carl, you go.
I was going to say Pete Shuttleworth, obviously, is assistant manager, isn't he? That he's brought in, and obviously the old guys we had from last season are still here as well. Obviously, Nance Gaville and what was his name, Flanavan?
Flahavan, isn't it?
Flahavan and Simon Ireland still here.
Yeah.
So he's only brought in one member of staff. Plus, was it head of sports science? Obviously, a new physio, the guy that does the warm up before the games.
Yeah.
Someone from Exeter, I think. I can't quite remember.
I forget his name there.
Yeah. So 2 new staff have come in.
Interesting with Simon Ireland, he was only going to stay around to the end of the season as well when he was brought in.
I think he deserves a bit of credit for how we finished as well. He stepped up when obviously Foster left.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm still intrigued. Why I was asked the question again, saying that we're mediocre. Okay, people will say we're mediocre. We're coming up through the leagues. We've just come up through 2 leagues. We've gone into the Championship now. Wow, tell me who you support, mate, and let's discuss it rather than sort of slag each other.
It's quite funny that we got a Scottish fan with beef with an Argyle fan. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, he's obviously an Exeter fan in exile. So
unless it's Bobby Williamson's son, I'm not sure.
It's all good fun. It's all good fun. So we'll bring you in, but we'll also kick you out if it gets a bit silly. So we all like a good bit of banter. That's what it's all about. As long as it's clean and it's fair. So
is that MK Don's Paolo?
I won't say anything about this one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I don't have any views on Milton Keynes either, to be honest.
Milton Keynes, like the franchise club. Milton Keynes, well, apart from them smashing us down at Home Park 5-1 the last game of the season a few years back, they're still sort of languishing within League Two and didn't really do much last season. I like to think they'd come back up through again because they weren't a bad side. They just let people, the star players go, like Scott Twine, and when he scored most of their goals for them in that game. But don't know. I hope they do well.
I'd rather back Wimbledon than MK, to be fair.
I'm staying out of that one. HJ5, I just remember that game at Hillsborough when Michael Cooper got injured, and I thought we were going to go up there and win that game because I think Wednesday were going through a bit of a tough time at the time, and we went up there. We were riding the crest of a wave and thought, we're going to go and win this. I think we were 1-2, or Ipswich were up there with us, and I just remember the game when Coops got injured, and it's a great atmosphere, 33,000 fans up there. So I think it'd be a tough game for us for opening game of the season, but I think we can get something up there.
Yeah, I just seen Alf, who's joined, was just asking us if, clearly a Cheltenham fan, asking us if we, think, there we go, the P is a bit of a giveaway yet, so with the Green Stadium. So we are Plymouth fans, we're just reviewing the game from yesterday. Clearly you're a Cheltenham fan, did you go to the game? Jeremy Carl again, here we go. That happened on Friday night, didn't it, Andy?
It did.
I'll have to come on and do another impression. I missed that one, Carl.
I do believe Sean's got the lie detector test results ready.
So let's bring out all your lost girlfriends, Carl. So onto the stage now is... God, yeah. Well, I prefer Adam Forshaw, so let's just stick with that.
Let's stick with him, shall we?
So away kit. Have they released the away kit or not? Question from Lewis.
No.
They've announced the goalkeeper kits before the away kit, which is a bit strange.
Yeah. Well, there was late designs and everything, wasn't there, for the kits?
It seems to be the case every season. We seem to be the last club to release kits. Other teams that have got Puma have released theirs weeks ago. I just don't understand why we're always late to the game of kits for some strange reason. And I don't think the home kit's going to sell that well this season, is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
so I've just rejected his request, but Wow wants to come on because he has an opinion on the formation. Well, that's interesting because you clearly don't follow Argyle,
No.
so I don't know how you can give any views on the formation.
Exactly.
But appreciate you sticking around, though. It's obviously not too miserable and boring for you listening about Plymouth Argyle. So, yes, thank you, David. Another one with a Jeremy Kyle.
If you just to let us know who you follow, it doesn't matter. If you support Exeter, that's fine, mate. If you want to support a club like that, that's absolutely fine. You support Plymouth Argyle, mate. We're passionate about Argyle.
We can't have a logical conversation if he can't reveal who he supports.
Yeah, exactly.
Clearly someone embarrassing.
Oh, good fun and games. Good fun and games. So we are
the Saints. So
we are
David is saying up the Saints.
Oh, is he? Okay, missed that. Let's just scroll.
The Saints last season getting promotion.
Yeah, glad for Southampton.
Yeah.
Nice club.
So we did have, I just spotted the comment from Red and White Army. So Plymouth attack versus us look really good. It's the defence what don't look great, and that I've raised on our side he's referring to. So we agree. So it's good to get a couple of Cheltenham fans come and join. And you guys,
like both teams then have got struggles in defence because they conceded 5. So I think they've got a few worries themselves.
Yeah. I don't think he'd be denying that. But they did have some. They did create some great chances. Looking at the 3-minute highlight reel that we had. So some. And as one of the, I think it was Alf said that Dolson who scored their goal. From the edge of that right box, smashing that into the top right hand corner. Yeah, it was a quality shot, and he rates that player.
I sort of feel for Cheltenham in a way because Cheltenham was sort of in the Gloucestershire area, and they just get picked off by all the bigger clubs. You look at Callum Wright. We got Callum Wright from Cheltenham. Alfie May was there scoring goals for them for fun, and they're a good side. Cheltenham. I got a soft spot for them in a way. So I remember the first time going there, 5-2. I think we lost 5-2, and it was an awful experience of the day. But yeah, that's what
I think we can all agree with that. We're happy to see them go because we don't have to play them on Boxing Day anymore.
Yes. Yeah, but thanks for Callum Wright. Callum Wright's doing all right for us. I just hope that you come back up through the leagues again. We've had some games against you, some good games against you as well.
Yep, David's also asked again, thoughts on Whittaker. Do we reckon he'll stay? We've touched upon that. We are coming up to nearly an hour and a half, so we probably will end it in the next 10 minutes.
It's an hour and a half already.
Yeah, it's 10 to 3. So
what a load of waffle.
I agree on that. Cheltenham remind me of Crewe. They get good players, but it's hard keeping them. Yeah, I totally agree with that, mate.
Is Sean still with us, or has he gone to sleep?
Sean is snoring in the background. Are you still with us, Sean?
I'm here. I'm just listening. I'm just listening.
His 5 stick again.
Hey, you made it on before Sam.
Yeah.
Sam's probably busy with his kids.
Well, if we get Rich on as well, Rich will just add to it as well, wouldn't he?
Well, we all have kids on here, so Sam can't always use that as an excuse, can he? So
no, because I think today he's looking after his kids because his wife's working.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, the wife has kindly kept
David, there's a name, David, that you've just brought back to us. Jack Stevens. He was a great player. Started off at Argyle, didn't he? Went to Southampton. I remember him very well.
Is Jack Stevens still at Southampton, David, or did his contract finish? Because there was links that we might go back in for him.
I think he's still there, isn't he?
Well, in the last year of his contract, there's a few rumours in pre-season a few weeks ago about Jack Stevens.
Yeah,
which I wouldn't mind. I think you'd be a decent option at the back.
Yep, no, all good. Any idea on the date for the away kit? Said Benny. Yeah, we just touched upon that. No idea.
Extension.
So Jack Stevens, extension triggered 2026. You've got a good player there, Jack. He'll always give you your 100%. Stevens, cracking. I think he's your captain up there as well. I think he's your captain, isn't he?
I just answered that question. Yeah. Captain.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he'll captain us next season. There you go.
AJ 5 gaming almost all. Also, I put my teeth back in, reminiscing on Paul Sturrock. Yeah, sort of. That's when sort of I got into sort of football. Not to say it's a glory fan situation, but sort of when I started going, sort of my dad's an Ipswich fan. You imagine this last 2 seasons, as Carl and Andy know. But those were incredible seasons going up too quick as well, which didn't always help. So I just think
DV4. I don't know if you're still with us, DV4. But talk of Morgan Whitaker being Nacho's replacement at Leeds. That's interesting. Where'd you find that out, mate? Where'd you hear about that?
And what fee would we want for him? It's going to be around 10. It's going to be around 10 to 12 million, I think.
20 million
is what.
If you up it to 15 million,
20.
we might consider it.
Yeah, Sean's like, he's not going. You got to pay us 20 million quid
20.
if you want him. But yeah, sorry, AJ, in terms of Stoic, surprised what he did at Plymouth. But that's, again, it's like I said, it's just the right person, the right club, things happen, so it doesn't always work. And on that, back in that decade, it did. So Argyle said 15 million, according to Marcus. Yeah, 15 million was touted when he was sort of playing really well in the first half of the season, coming into the Jan window. So, yeah, we'll see.
We've seen more signings as well. Have you seen that one there, Mike? Do we see?
Say again, sorry?
We do see more signings. I think it's going to be another 2 or 3 in maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully this guy Cisse will come over. I forget which club he's from now, but I did see it a little bit snippet all eyes on X earlier on.
Yeah, someone also asking if there's any players that you think Torquay could potentially take on loan this season from us. I think they mean, Wayne could be one of those options.
What?
Sorry, Sean?
Izaka. The players that could go to Torquay could be Izaka, Wayne, and White.
I wouldn't like to.
I think Izaka.
Yeah, I think Izaka's going to have
a role in the first team. I think Cannon White would as well. Players on the fringe, maybe Roberts.
I would send Jenkins Davis back there for a season, to be fair.
Yeah, Jenkins Davis. I think he was back there, wasn't he? And I know they signed. I think it's then. Oh gosh, it'll come to me in a minute. But he signed one of our players. I should know. I think they signed one of our players. I think one came in for one of our players. But it's one of the sort of fringe players. Didn't get much airplay.
I did. No, and I think just on Izaka, Marcus has just noted the point, is pushing for the first team. I did hear some, can't remember, it was in our chat actually, I think it was, where Roberts seemed to sort of be messing around a bit. I think he was sort of not focused on what he needs to be focused on, so I think Izaka is there. So look, we're going to sort of start to wrap up now. So we appreciated everybody that's joined in. Look, we're going to do more of these. Argyle related. Might even just jump on for some random sessions at times. Equally, myself. We are on all sort of major platforms as we try and build this. So on X, it's at Block9 Podcast. On Facebook.com/Block9 Podcast. We do have a YouTube. Guess what? Block9 Podcast. And we do have a Spotify account, which we will then be adding to that. It's the same at Block9 Podcast. So what we aim to do is hopefully restream. That's a platform that allows you to stream across different social networks and Twitch and all that sort of stuff. I don't think we'll be playing FIFA on this one, but we are hoping to try and connect it up soon to TikTok, because there's certain stipulations where you have to be a part of something to do that, and then we'd like to do that though because we would like to bring this and grow it across our audience base. But TikTok, we're not aware of many Argyle pods being on TikTok, so we wanted to sort of test this out and see what we get. So we appreciate those that have stuck with us over these initial shows, and everybody that's joined today. Carl, Andy, any last thoughts from you before we sign off?
Just obviously give us a like and follow on the TikTok page, and if you can individually support our main channels as well, just to boost our numbers up, which will be good for the future as well for streaming. So yeah.
I think, Jay, just a quick message for AJ5 Gaming. Mate, good to have you on board as a Sheffield Wednesday fan. It'd be really interesting if you can join us for our first pod as well. You could have some input on that as well. That'd be fantastic. We want to reach
you want
out
to know
other
something
clubs as well. So it's not just Argyle related. It's going to be, the Championship and all that sort of stuff as well.
We can
really welcome to join us on board as well, mate.
Yeah, as David sort of alluding to, I think we can talk about other clubs as well. We're not tending to be that, but we're open. So Sean, what were you going to say? You were going to give us some news from the sounds of that.
We're playing Sheffield Wednesday first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My dad supports Wednesday. That's where it comes. That's where it comes from.
So you've got a connection like I have with my dad, who's now in the Premiership, as he keeps reminding me.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah, so excellent. Sean, appreciate you coming on. Andy, any last words from yourself before we go?
No, just a big thanks to all who dropped in today. 4.2k likes on the pod on the sort of stream. So yeah, thanks for that. Mike, thanks for hosting. Carl, it's been good to have you on board as well, and Sean. Just keep on, as Carl said. Make sure you hit those subscribe buttons and make sure you follow us on all the platforms, and that'd be great. We want to get to know you a bit more.
And just a final comment: if Wow can join us for the next stream, we would love to know who he supports.
He can send you a private message, Carl, if he's still in there with us. I'm just going to have a look. So yeah, looks like the audience has been sort of building over the last 20 minutes, which is good. It just creates the exposure out there. So folks, thank you for your time on a Sunday. And we shall pick up with you probably. Might do something midweek, and equally, but that might be a stream on X. We'll see. But if not, we certainly will do for post Torquay. So have a great day, rest of the day, and we shall see you later.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
We know me.
Nice one, Sean.